Hello, good afternoon. I'm going to be discussing something about English drama and historical drama and analysis. And it's a bit of power and conflict, part of English drama. And I've chosen for this drama a film that I sort of grew up with as a teenager, and it impressed me. But make sure, if you choose a film, make sure that it's a film that impresses you and that it's appropriate, of course. Now, being a boy, sort of I liked action films, and part of the drama is to learn about various plays, films, etc. So I chose for today, I'm going to choose Rambo II, and I sort of, as I said, that was released when I was still at school. Of course, it had a age restriction, but I was older than 15 at the time. So this is an interesting film in the sense of the fact that it has repeating characters, and one of which is Colonel Troutman and John J. Rambo, who's Sylvester Stallone. And it's a sort of a film about the Vietnam War. And the Vietnam War historically started in 1965. And the Russian Premier, Kosygin, visited Hanoi in Vietnam in the northern parts and stimulated a new surge of communist attacks into the country. Now, Vietnam is a country surrounded by ocean, and it's a country that is, of course, quite narrow, but it's very productive agriculturally. The attacks stimulated and encouraged the US President at the time, US President Johnson, representing Western capitalism, to begin bombing and sending troops to the area. This campaign, the American campaign, was continued by President Nixon, who eventually withdrew the troops in January 1973. The premier in charge of Vietnam was Thieu, and he was left in charge in the government of southern Vietnam, or Saigon. War cost a lot of lives, 50,000 American lives, 1 million communist soldier lives, and 600,000 southern Vietnamese soldiers and civilians killed. That's a vast number. So the assumed sort of historical platform or location is that Rambo II is set in the forests of southern Vietnam near Binh Ho, and that is quite close to a river, the Mekong River. And in the film, you can see Rambo II traveling with a lady in a pirate ship or boat along the tributary of the Mekong River. So let us first of all look at a map. So I'm going to screen share a map. Just get it for you there. Hang on. So screen share and Vietnam War. There you go. There's the Vietnam War, and you can see it's a long, narrow country, and the infiltration of communist insurgents was from the north to the south. Spoken of Binh Ho, the area where the film was made. But this is the Mekong River, and part of the film was made on one of the tributaries. The new premier of Vietnam was in Saigon after the Americans had withdrawn. Now notice the proximity across the Pacific Ocean from the US, so it was a place where Americans were often seen. And if I can screen share another shot for you, give me a minute. And this next screenshot would be of hopefully the film itself. Whilst it's loading, I'm going to have a task. Okay, and this task is to think about the moral of the application. Okay, so if I just add a new share, here we go, and here we go. Now this is the film. Here's Rambo II, or Sylvester Stallone, and he acted as the soldier rescuing GIs that were still imprisoned by the communistic Vietnamese soldiers after the Americans had withdrawn. And the moral of the story is whether war is really worth it. Okay, so the setting is Vietnam, and it's an offshoot of the long Vietnam War, and it was actually filmed in the Mexican jungles, which is quite astonishing. Now the duty, in terms of the drama, the duty is that Rambo scouts a camp to see if there were any GIs, as I mentioned earlier, imprisoned there. And the links, in terms of our drama, are that war and rejection are the main links, and rejection of US servicemen by their own American people. So a lot of the servicemen who came back from the war were rejected by the American people, and this is common in many wars all over the world. So the rejection, therefore, becomes twofold. Rejection from the enemy and rejection from your own people. So if we go back there, the pain becomes twofold as well, pain on both sides. And now let's look at the allusions. Now Rambo tells Ko, a beautiful Vietnamese lady whom he meets up with, that he faced his own war in the USA, that of being rejected. And he says to fight a war, you have to become war. The forces were, of course, the communist soldiers supported by Russian presence, and Rambo fights through torture, escape, destruction, and rescue after he was betrayed by Murdoch, who is the mission boss. So he's betrayed again, okay, in his mission. So Rambo, under interrogation, informs Murdoch that he is coming to get him. The tragedy, of course, is that just after the dramatic escape, Ko gets killed by the enemy, and Rambo, having the promise to take her back to the States, is totally traumatized. Well, after burying her, he attacks the camp and all the communists in it, using a multitude of weapons and exceptional skill. The action is packed from the start, and dramatically it finishes in that Stallone is still alive but forgives Murdoch and tells him what he should do. Stallone's muscles are very, very impressive, and we can see this, of course, in all the Rocky movies, Rocky 1 to 5, and he's extremely powerful and very, very positive and gets things done. And the action also goes on further to wishing that Rambo would finally find a wife, and we all wish he found a wife. And Ko said to him, after Rambo promised to take her back, I think you have made a good choice. So lucky Rambo, see, lucky Sylvester Stallone. The conclusion, though, is that veterans from wars should be appreciated by their own country as they fought for the country. Peace is better than war. Forgiveness is better than tragedy. Love is better than hatred. And Rambo, after completing the mission, walks off. And that portrays a man who is somebody who aligns with all those things I mentioned. And he doesn't really believe in war. He believes in peace and the goodness of humanity. And his walking off into the sunset brings that peace upon the scene. And I hope you enjoyed that analysis of a movie and English drama. And think of a movie of your own, as long as it's appropriate, and try and analyze it and share it if you want. All right. So I hope you enjoy that. All the best. Take care and think of a nice film. And I'll leave you with the last share, if you like, of Rambo 2. There you go. So take care. Bye. Cheers. Bye.